What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 302 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, JR, and my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
It's been a long time.
It has.
You have a good Christmas?
I did.
Good
Yeah.
holidays?
It was nice.
That's good. It's snowing right now,
It is.
last I knew.
Yep.
Yeah, so risking my life for this show. Remember last year when we did the Snowden episode?
Yeah. We're actually in two different places.
That was kind of cool. That was a neat episode.
Some people do that a lot, I've seen.
Yeah, like some people make their careers out of doing that. Like,
Never being in the studio with the person.
yeah, but it's like the way they have it sound, like it's like perfect.
Hmm.
How you guys sound like you're in the same room. Like with us, it sounded it was clear we were not in the same room. I was also using a mic that I've used 3 times. I used to use that mic exclusively for the end of the year sound bits, which I regrettably don't have one for this year. I don't think I had one for last year either, because I think Babs was with us. But either way, it is the end of the year. It is December 30th. The year ends tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good riddance. Well, a lot of people will say. There's no guess, by the way. It's a justice. We're recapping 2017. Not really recapping. We're talking about some of the things that we liked, maybe some of the things that we're a little conflicted about, and we obviously are always curious to hear yours.
Yeah.
So we're anxious to see no one's comments because
No
no
one
one
ever
will. Good old Facebook, the black void that is Facebook.
Algorithms.
It is horrifyingly depressing.
Yeah.
Scrolling and seeing, like, you know, Brett and Dave, always good people to us. They like our shit all the time.
Yeah.
And that's about it. No one else sees it.
Yep.
You know, I like to think we would get more likes on it. Anyways, I'm venting. 2017 was an interesting year. We have an embarrassment for a leader and so on and so forth. Let's talk about nerd shit.
Yeah. Something lighthearted. So let's move into let's talk about good stuff.
Let's talk about good things.
What made us happy?
Good
What
things
was
are good.
some of our bests.
Some of our bests.
In the past, we usually do like not really a list, I guess, but like we'll choose categories.
Yeah.
And
It used to be like the awards.
Yeah. And I figured, like, we haven't been good at experience everything that's
Oh, yeah, we've
out
been
there.
terrible.
And, well, it's like life is happening.
Yeah.
Things get really tough. I haven't been reading, like, 70% of the comic books I've been buying because I just haven't.
Yep.
Because it's really hard to go all the way back and start from where you left off and then try to catch up.
Exactly. I haven't been seeing any movies or even TV shows. Like, I haven't watched season 2 of Daredevil came out, a year and a half ago. I haven't watched Punisher. I haven't. Did the new season of Jessica Jones come out?
No.
It didn't
But
come out.
Defenders came out.
Right, yeah. See, I didn't watch Iron Fist.
See, all those I watch because they're easier for me to watch because I have
Right.
Netflix.
Mhm.
But like, I used to watch a lot of the CW shows. Haven't caught any of them this year, and I've just been watching other stuff, or I just haven't had time to sit down and take that in.
We've been bad at being nerds this year
Yeah.
in our own respective ways.
So with that, to go on, it's like, well, if JR has a favorite comic book, what's my favorite comic book? Oh, the 2 that I've read.
I do have a best movie, but of the movies I saw in theaters this year, I think it was less than 5.
I have a worst movie, but it's one that I haven't seen, but it's still one that should never have happened.
Right.
Yeah. You'll get to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. Anyways, but yeah,
So our bests.
yeah, our best for us.
Since we brought up movies, should we start there?
That's the first thing on my list.
Okay.
Yeah,
A lot happened this year. There's a lot to go on.
a lot good, a lot bad.
Yeah. And it's to the point where, like, we get to where we are now, and you almost, like, have to go review because you forget, like, what happened in March.
Right.
It's like, oh, right, that was still this year. And a lot of stuff like that. So with, Star Wars just happened, Justice League came out, Thor came out. There's a lot to go on. My favorite movie of the year, Wonder Woman.
Right. Yep.
It like this gem crawled out of this horrible swamp and just shone brightly like a star.
Yeah.
It was amazing. You didn't really get to hear us talk about it,
Right.
which was still fun.
Yep.
because we had some friends on, some women to come talk about Wonder Woman. Because why should we, some dudes, keep talking about this movie? But that was my favorite of the year. Like, it beat Thor, and it beat Star Wars. You know, it beat a bunch of things. Because it was done so well, and there was so much respect involved. And even though Movies with Mikey just did his episode on it,
I haven't watched that one yet.
Okay.
No, you can talk about it.
You know how like there's been a few Movies with Mikey episodes, and in like the episode's so good it affects you.
Yeah,
it makes you rethink your life. I mean, the movie
Iron Giant,
but also the Iron Giant. His Firefly Serenity episode got me really hard.
His Firefly episode made me really want to rewatch Firefly and give it another chance. like insanely bad.
Whenever he does Edgar Wright stuff, it's like I wish I had more Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg.
Yep.
Whereas I forget what the one a couple episodes ago, but you said it was kind of a meh episode, and his Wonder Woman didn't really tell me anything new, and it didn't have any new like theories or things that I missed, or like like strong elements or plot things, because me and my friends have already analyzed it so much and already talked about all those items and all those things. Being a geek and a nerd in the nerd world, like we've already done it, and he didn't have anything new to put into it, which I was kind of disappointed in. But I do want to like buy the DVD or Blu-ray so I could watch more of the behind the scenes, because what they went through for like costume design, weapon design, character costumes, and then the actresses they got. It's like, no, we actually found like women bodybuilders and MMA fighters and competitive horse obstacle racers.
Right.
It's like like horse barrel racing. Did you know that was a thing?
Yeah.
Like, right.
Only reason I knew barrel racing thing though is because my a former ex-girlfriend used to do barrel racing. Otherwise, I would not know the barrel racing existed.
It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Like watching a motorcycle like go sideways while driving on a track.
Yep.
They do that on horses. Holy shit.
Yeah, a living thing that could choose not to do it at any moment.
Right, and like just the knowledge of everything that went into it. It's like they didn't just find like someone who was kind of pretty and blonde to be in the movie. They were like, who do we have that's legitimately tough? Like, let's cast some MMA fighters, Let's cast some women athletes that will look like athletes who aren't just, it's the pretty skinny chick. Nope. And so all that stuff was great and like really gave a lot to the movie.
It was great.
It was.
It wasn't, for me, it wasn't what, like the level of excitement and stuff with like the excitement was there, but overall I didn't enjoy it as much as everyone else did. I still really liked it, especially compared to its counterparts in the universe. Yeah. It was if you compare it to like Suicide Squad and Batman Superman, it's Oscar worthy. It's put it in the Smithsonian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But
because Patty Jenkins like got it.
Yeah.
Whereas one of the arguments is that Snyder, he doesn't really get it.
He's just Zack Snyder.
He's Zack Snyder. He doesn't like understand Superman
right
well enough to like to be paid to tell a story about him.
He can make a pretty entertaining movie, but it overall, if we're talking about sticking to what the character is, and so on and so forth, like the Wonder Woman movie was just it was beautiful. Especially Robin Wright. Come on. Just put Robin Wright in everything.
It was inspiring. Gal Gadot did a great job.
She was fantastic.
Unbelievably
good.
Because what was it? When she was cast in like all
everyone freaked out,
the what do I call them? The scummy fanboys were like, she's too small. She's not strong enough.
People were saying that her boobs were not big enough. That was an argument that people were legitimately raising. Her boobs are not big enough to be Wonder Woman. What is Wonder Woman to you? If that's what you like, every time you crack open a new issue. Oh wait, check the boobs. Okay, we're okay. We're good. Anyways, yeah, all the neckbeards were pretty furious at first.
As soon as she was on screen, didn't care.
Yeah.
She perfect.
Nope.
Everything fit just right. It's nothing I felt was unproportioned or like, oh, maybe her thighs could be thicker, more muscle. No, I don't care.
Nope. Didn't
Were her
matter.
shoulders not big enough? I don't care. She looked great.
Yep.
She was exactly what we needed for Wonder Woman to be.
Yep.
And one of the points that Mikey Newman had made, it's like, yeah, it took. Well, let's see. I just realized it's a bad comparison.
Okay.
What DC and Warner Brothers is doing with their DC connected universe, and he's like, oh, well, it took them 4 movies to get a woman lead, and it's like Marvel. It took Marvel 23 movies, and Captain Marvel's not out yet.
Right.
It's like they didn't get a woman lead, for this long, but it's like, well, Marvel's been doing the connected universe thing longer because we did get Catwoman, and Marvel did get Elektra. And there's a lot of a lot of those moments of like, well, you're forgetting about. It's like you do have to look at the broad scope.
Yeah.
But
They do exist.
yeah,
Remember Catwoman?
I don't want to.
The basketball scene? I bring that up.
Don't fight
Every
with
time.
open-toed shoes. That's ridiculous.
For me, out of all 3 movies that I saw this year, about 3. I just saw Star Wars. We'll get into that. And then typically the lady and I, the missus, we will rent movies over the PlayStation. Like that's how I saw Logan, which Logan was okay. I wasn't there with everyone else.
He wasn't on my list.
Did we forget about Logan?
I think so.
But for me,
it was really good, but it's still not going to be my top.
Best movie for me, far and away, hands down, without a doubt, was Baby Driver. I loved that damn movie. That movie caused me to Google Baby Driver release date, DVD release date, Blu-ray date, whatever. Probably at least a half dozen times. Just like, when's Baby Driver coming out? Mostly because I wanted my wife to see it really bad, and I wanted all my friends to see it, and I wanted to watch it with them. And then I finally did sit down to watch it with a good friend of mine, my buddy Chris, in his gorgeous living room theater, or not his basement theater that he built. And I was terrified. I was like, I've been hyping this movie up so much, and then I realized like it's Edgar Wright, so it's not necessarily your average action movie. It's going to be a little bit different. And I was like, fuck, he's gonna hate this movie. Like, this is gonna be awful. But I love that movie. Baby Driver was fantastic. The soundtrack kicks fucking ass. That's a quote.
But
Listen to it many times.
Babies can't drive.
Babies can't drive. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they can't. But this baby could. He was a good baby. BABY. And it was, without a doubt, my movie of the year. Out of all 3 movies that I saw. I did see Wonder Woman. I did see Logan, going back to that one. I didn't see really any of the Marvel movies aside from Logan. And you don't even really put Logan in the same universe.
Right.
But out of what I did see, Baby Driver was pretty fantastic. Edgar Wright, that son of a bitch. It was a fun movie, a nice I think it was an original property, right?
I think so.
I
haven't heard of what it would have come from.
Right. Yeah, I
mean,
think
we've had a driver movie before, and we've had the Transporter, but I imagine those don't fall
I'm good
into
with
the
those. I'm all good with the Transporter movies. But it was and the soundtrack, I cannot get over the soundtrack. My wife got me the soundtrack on vinyl for my birthday. And then the DVD came out 2 weeks later, and I refused to listen to the soundtrack because I didn't want any of the songs to get spoiled for my wife. I wanted everything to be fresh with that movie. And then once it did, once we all finally saw it, I'd listen to the soundtrack like crazy. And it's on Spotify, and I listen to it at work every other day. It's just that good. I really like that movie, and the music is great too. Jamie Foxx does a great job of making you hate him. So,
I mean, he did that with Electro too. So.
Yeah, he did a great job making me hate that movie.
Out of all the things to hate, he wasn't really the reason for me.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
But there's been a lot of strong soundtrack elements happening in movies recently.
Yep.
Between what Guardians of the Galaxy did.
Yep.
And then what Suicide Squad tried to do to mimic.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really pan out the same way.
I believe Baby Driver unseated Guardians of the Galaxy for me as the best soundtrack ever. What Guardians of the Galaxy did, I feel like Baby Driver capitalized on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, props to what's his name? Gunn. What's the director?
James Gunn?
James Gunn. For some reason, I'm thinking Sean Gunn.
Billy Gunn, the wrestler.
Billy. Yeah, it was Billy. Directed by Billy Gunn. Was Guardians of the Galaxy. And there are a lot of asses
Yeah.
just everywhere.
Yeah, it was famous.
Yeah, Baby Driver was a good movie. We have talked about your best video game
Yeah,
much
yeah.
this year with Dead by Daylight.
Enough points where
You haven't even told me. I'm just assuming it's Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. We don't need to go into anymore.
Yeah.
Our listeners are very bored by that by now.
Alex got to interview one of the designers of the game a couple weeks ago, so you can go back and check. There was actually a pretty big. Someone must have found it recently because it had some activity on it.
Really?
Yeah, within the past couple days.
Nice.
And we got to talk to them at New York Comic Con, and you got to try it out at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a Christmas thing, right?
Yeah.
A holiday thing.
Yeah. There was snow on the ground.
Really makes the blood
It does.
pop.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. For me,
Although there was new spooky music, which really
nice.
it was great.
Nice. They get it.
Yeah.
For me, the best game was probably the most difficult thing to choose because I actually do play video games, and the Switch came out this year. So, I mean, aside from just playing Overwatch, like, because Overwatch was game of the year last year I think for me it was. I don't know. I think it was for you, maybe? I can't remember.
I don't recall.
I do not remember, and I'm too lazy to go check. But definitely still played a lot of Overwatch, although a lot less than the previous year. And then the Switch came out, which was the first time I have ever had a console on release day in my entire life, ever. I believe it's the first time I've ever had a console within a year of it coming out. Especially one that I bought myself. Because like I got the Wii back in the day as a gift, and the Wii U as a gift, and then when I started buying PlayStations, those were all years after they had come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Ditto.
But I had a really hard time because there were so many good games, especially just between the Nintendo games. Because I didn't play a whole lot on like the PlayStation, like the regular. It sucks because I kind of lump PlayStation, Xbox games separately from Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You know, because like Nintendo, like you're not going to see a Mario game on PlayStation.
Right. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So like, you know, I played a couple games here and there, but I don't, just mainly because of money. I don't buy a whole lot.
Right.
A game needs to be real good for me to buy it. But I believe my game of the year, and it's really tough, would probably be Mario Odyssey.
Really?
Because it's just brilliant. Like, and it's really the main competition is the Zelda game, is
Right.
Breath of the Wild. Which
I thought you were going to go with that one.
Yeah, I honestly, ask me tomorrow, I might. Because it was Breath of the Wild was beautiful. It was amazing. The story was fantastic. I could say all the same shit that people have been reading for the past year, but overall, like it was also very frustrating.
Okay.
There are parts of the game that I really did not enjoy because it was hard. It was frustrating. I didn't like it. I wanted it to be different from what it was. But when I was playing Odyssey, I didn't get any of that. Odyssey was just like, I was smiling, I was happy, this is a fun Mario game. There were some really hard parts that kind of sucked, but like overall you could work through them, or you could even just work around them. Which I guess you could do in Zelda too. Technically, after you beat like the introduction stage, you can go fight Ganon, like if you wanted to. And like watching people speedrun that game is unbelievable.
I've been seeing a lot of clips on highlight reel where people are bypassing some of the trials. Is that what they are? You have to like put a stone on a certain thing, or you have to get to
the shrines.
Yeah, the shrine. That's what they are. And I've been seeing like a lot of versions of people finding a way around doing that how you're expected supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable what people do. Like some of it is actually like they will use it in the game. Like, hey, I'm doing the speed run, but you have to do this shrine. Let's find the fastest way to do it.
Okay.
Other people, like I've seen, they just like, hey, I want to figure out a fast way to get this shrine done. I mean, again, I'm not really up on the speedrunning community when it comes to Breath of the Wild. I've only seen like the let's do this one as fast as possible. I don't know how many different, like, because there's always like any percent, all dungeons, all bosses, whatever.
Right.
I don't know what the categories are for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which might require more shrines. but the Odyssey is so fun, and also a big part of it was the enjoyment that my wife got out of it too.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, who is a notorious not game player, she does not play games ever with people. Admittedly, she's too competitive. She hates losing, absolutely despises it like to a fault, and she recognizes it, so she just abstains from playing games.
This is always funny to me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
well, like even when we play Overwatch with some of our friends, and like Colin will get really upset when he loses, and
it's
just
easy
like,
to tilt. Yeah,
it's just like, meh.
yeah.
So what? We'll just play another game.
Yep. On to the next one.
Yeah, I don't really get, they're seriously, because nothing's at stake. You're just having fun with
Except pride. But
I'd get upset when I'd go to like a tournament to play HeroClix.
right.
And it's like I've traveled to New York City or something to play a tabletop plastic figure game of comic book characters, to roll dice so there's a random element. But there's like really cool prizes, and like if I lose or there's a rules thing that I didn't catch, then I'll get salty about it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's like, hey, you won, good job, good for you, congratulations. I'll shake your hand.
Yeah. Some people.
There has been a time where I haven't shaken up.
Oh.
I did not get fellowship that day.
That's a story that I'm interested in hearing sometime.
Anyway.
But yeah, my wife is hyper competitive. She doesn't really play video games very much. Like the Mario games, she definitely plays. She's played Galaxy back in the day.
Did she play Maker or?
She played Maker a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she made a couple levels, and she'd fool around on other people's levels and stuff like that. She's just a big fan of the classics. She loves the classics. So like when the Super Nintendo Mini came out, that was a huge huge deal. Any Mario game, Mario Kart. She does play Mario Kart a lot. Back when that first came out, she will play Mario Kart. And then usually she will play the Mario games up until a certain point, and then it kind of like it'll maybe get frustrating, and then she'll just kind of put it down, and then you never really touch it again. With Odyssey, Mario Odyssey is the first video game that she has ever beaten, and it was like I got really emotional over it too, because I was like a proud papa, like because there were times where there were a couple bosses and couple levels where she was like thinking about what, I'm done with this. This is
right.
I can't get past this.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you can. You will, and once you beat it, it's going to be easy again. And like she worked her way through it. Like she even found some neat ways of kind of beating the game for herself. Like I don't know if you ever saw that video.
The crawling up the wall on the side?
Yeah.
So I was hanging out with our friend Jesse, and Jesse mentioned that he was playing that game. And so I showed him that clip, and he's like, I don't know where that is. I haven't gotten there yet. And I was like, whoops. I just...
Spoilers.
Just tell you a secret.
But it was a huge, it was a big proud moment for me, and it was also just a feel good moment, because Mario's it's for everyone. Like it's for. I had to tell myself that a lot too when I'm playing the game. I'm like, this is a children's game. Why can I not do this? But Odyssey was just a lot of fun. And I remember when the trailer first dropped, because one of the levels takes place in like a cityscape, and there's like humans.
Yeah.
And oh my god, Mario! But like
so
that's
weird.
That's such a small part of the game,
Really?
and everyone was flipping out. Like, oh my god, it's like in people. What are they doing to Mario? They're ruining it. It's just a gorgeous game, and the speed running is so entertaining to me. Like a lot of the speedrunners that I usually watch, Trihex and Witwix and things like that, they've been speedrunning Odyssey a lot. There's like here's the one where you do it as fast as possible, like the least amount of because you have to collect moons.
Okay.
Moons to power up. No, it's moons.
Okay.
To power up your ship to get to the next level.
Okay.
And then because the fastest way is you collect the just the minimum amount of moons needed, and you go to the next level. And then there's also like a 500 moon run where you unlock all the levels. Which I was watching Trihex just do like routing on it, and it's like, how do you even think about that? Like, because there's just so many. There's so many moons. Like, there's just shit everywhere. Like, really, I barely even like cracked like the surface of the game, and I've beaten it. So it was a lot of fun.
Are you still playing it though?
I haven't played it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Because I've noticed
mostly because holidays.
You'll play like the main line, and then you're done.
Yep.
And I feel it's unfortunate. because when the last Pokemon game came out, or whatever the Pokemon game that you got was,
Pokemon Sun, yeah.
and was that the last one?
That was the most recent one that I've played, and that was absolutely has the least amount of hours that I've ever put in a Pokemon game.
And we were talking to Jess about it, and Jess was like, "Yeah, well, once you do this and this and this, and then you can you have your own like little village, and you can visit other people's village and their shops, and then you decide what's there." And you're like, "I have no idea this exists."
Yeah. Pokemon Moon, I don't know what it was. It just, like, I love, it was a great game. All the new Pokemon were great. I beat it. It's a lot of fun. And then that was just it. I think the big thing for me is having someone to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Pokemon what was before Sun and Moon? X and Y.
Yeah.
Like me, Colin, and Joe were all up on that. We were just always talking about it. So all I wanted to do was keep playing it.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, I think Joe got it. I can't remember. But it was kind of just me.
Yeah.
I know Colin did not get it. He was, I don't even know if, like he mentioned the other day, he needs to find his 3DS. It was just like I beat the game and that was cool. And I don't have it anymore. I sold it. Which was definitely.
Because hearing Jess talk about what she was doing afterwards,
Yeah.
It's like, I think JR only got hit 60% of the value out of the game.
Oh, probably maybe even less. But with Odyssey, like I have been trying to get back to it. Now that the holidays are done.
Because niece Megan was playing Galaxy 2.
Mm-hmm. Great game.
And even though we'd get to certain levels, like we'd still go back and do challenges and still like try to get more stars or whatever there was to get. And like you could unlock something 9 planets in, they could go back 4 planets or whatever and redo or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. And actually I was doing that while I was playing the actual game. I delayed beating the game because I wanted to see more of like the levels, which is rare for me. Normally I just try and fly through the story and just say, so I can say I beat it. But it's one of those.
I have to get minimum enjoyment out of this. So I can see I did it.
I need to beat this game. But Odyssey, yeah, for me, at least right now, it's 12:41 on Saturday the 30th. This could change within the next day, but Odyssey was my game of the year. I really liked it. Beautiful game. Just buy a Switch if you haven't already. You can see them in stock. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just buy a Switch. Beautiful, beautiful console.
My best event of last year. We do manage to go to a lot of events, conventions.
A lot of the same ones, but still.
Right. And so it's like you could say like they've all been pretty good. New York Comic Con was good. Steamboat World's Fair was good. ConnectiCon was good. But PAX was my best one.
No shit.
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all.
Because, like you were saying, when you did PAX Unplugged, it's like I'm out of my element. It's not what I'd normally do, and I have to approach this differently. So, like, I'm not going to walk around PAX and go, all right, so what's the exclusives that I could buy?
Right.
It's like, so I have to find new stuff. And I didn't, like, hang around you guys because there were so many of us there. And, like, it's an event that I'm going to with so many of my friends. And it's like, you ever get that person that just wants to hang around and then I'm kind of being a drag on what you're doing and what your friends are doing? It's like, well, just go, just chew. Just go. So, like,
I would be having fun if it weren't for X.
Right. And so I want to make sure I wasn't that person who's just following you and going, what's this? What's that?
Right.
What are we doing now? Are we just waiting? And, so I was like, no, it's my decision to go try new things. And so between trying new things, like I met people I wouldn't have met before. I had to exercise my journalistic skills and find new things and figure out how to talk about these things that I'm not normally used to. I did the scavenger hunt.
I was just going to say, you use the tools that were given to you to fully take advantage of that. Like the scavenger hunt, I think, was a big deal. And like you got to experience all these things that you probably wouldn't have given a shit about.
Right. And it's going to make me ask more questions and want to talk to people, because then I'm going to want to have some knowledge when I, talk about it at some point. Compared to if I just went by myself as a gamer, this is just information I'm just going to keep. And then when the game comes out, I might buy it. which I just saw on PSN. One of the games that I demoed
Made its debut.
at PAX, and I was like, "No shit, there it is. I did that one."
I'm glad they made it.
And when you first got here, you mentioned you've been watching a lot of videos, and part of that was I got to see Auntie Donna live.
Yep,
they made the appearance, did a show, some skits and a Q&A, which normally they're from Australia. Why would I ever see them here in America?
Yeah.
And so, like, I not only did I run into them in the hallway, I went to their show. We took some pictures after the show. That was a lot of fun.
And they are tall.
Yeah.
Like
Mark looks short in the videos.
The one with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks tiny. He looks like my height.
He's as tall as me.
That's insane.
Yep. We're about to see. I might be like 1 inch taller than him. But both Broden and Zach are both taller than me by a number of inches. But they're all super cool guys. They're all really nice to meet. That was a great part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And, and even like the stuff that you guys were really into that I could experience some of, because there was enough where it's like, if the theater wasn't closed out or there was still, enough room for more people to get in, I could walk into the Acquisition Inc. Then I could just walk in and like take it in for a bit and then leave and go do something else.
Yeah.
And so there was enough for me to do where I was still entertained, but not like afraid of it. Being like, so out of my element. What am I doing here?
Right.
To
the point where you might not even enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. Like one of our catchphrases about PAX. You don't let it happen to you. You have to like work at it a little bit.
Yeah. If you expect it to happen to you, you might be disappointed.
Yeah.
You'll probably be disappointed. There's a lot of shit that's going to be shoved in your face, so you might have a good time, but you also need to do a little bit of work.
Yeah. So with everything that was there, all the flashing lights and everything, I had a really good time. But my not going every year, like my every other year, like a couple
might
years
help
off,
with that.
That probably helped, because then so much more is new to me every time.
Right.
And it's just a well put together show. That overall, that was my best event, best convention of the year.
I'm really anxious to see how the typical JR quote. I'm anxious to see how, especially like how I interpret PAX East coming up in April, having done a PAX a month ago. Because usually it's, you wait a year between PAXs. Yeah. That's what it is. Right. But I got to have like my fix, my PAX fix.
Your picks.
My picks in November. So now I only have to wait, 5 months instead of 12 for a PAX.
Right.
And this year the East is, because I don't know how it works, like if they have a contract or whatever, but like it kind of rotates a little bit. 1 year PAX East will be in March, the next year it'll be in April. The next year it's in March, the next year it's in April.
Well, that's have to like schedule that around the other 5 PAX shows.
Exactly. Yeah, that too. And then you're making sure that the convention center actually has availability, blah, whatever. Who knows? We'll have to get Jeff on again and tell us about how that works.
Yeah.
And as far as favorite show for me, it would be really easy to say one of the PAXs, because I did manage to get to 2 of them. And it would probably be very true. But I'm going to say my favorite show, and I don't even know if it was the show that did it. I think it was the experience that did it, was Boston.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time in a while that we've had like the gang together all at one show.
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 years.
With a virgin.
With Sinead.
Yeah.
That was like one of another with a convention virgin.
Yeah, that's what I
mean by that. Just to
we got
clarify.
We got to bring someone into our world essentially.
Yep.
And they haven't experienced it before. They've been interested. They've heard about it. They know like some of the normal geek stuff and comic books, whatever. But but then this was the correct show to bring someone to.
Yeah.
To get them to experience it. Yeah.
But I really liked Boston, not necessarily because of the actual convention itself. It was Boston. It was pretty crowded, which was kind of a bummer. They moved into the new venue. You can go back and listen to our recap that Sinead actually joined us on, which was we're actually going to probably talk about that a little bit later. But it was a really cool, and we still got a hotel. We went out to dinner the night before.
Yeah.
It was just classic the gang, you know, and it's especially as we get older, it's tougher and tougher to get all of us in one spot, especially for
Away from
multiple days.
Away from our real lives and
Yeah.
all the work and whatever obligations we have. Yeah.
Yep. So to be able to get that, especially because it was like some of it was kind of like last minute, like down to the wire, is X coming, you know?
Yeah.
But we got it all together. We went to Boston, which is, especially being a fan of New York teams. I love Boston. That's such that city. It's a good city.
And it's nice catching up with friends.
Yeah.
We did see, like, we got to meet some new artists there. Well, like, I was focusing on artists.
Yep.
I got to see some new ones I didn't see before. I got to visit with some friends that we already have. Like, Sin had a Rich Woodall.
Yep.
Before we even go in, we're in the parking lot, and here comes Kirby.
Yeah.
Kirby's like, hey, it's OV, guys. And we're like, whoa, my God, it's Kirby.
Nicest guy. Yeah. He chatted with us for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was supposed to be inside, but he was hanging out with us for a bit longer.
Yeah, just such a good guy. But I mean, it's just one of those. It's really easy to take those moments for granted because when you're in them, it's Andy Bernard said it best in the finale of The Office. You know, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good times when. I'm butchering the quote, but I wish there was a way to know that you were in the good days while you're in them. You know, and like those weekends, it's like I'm in a good moment right now, and I don't even realize it because I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And then the moment it's over, it's like, what have I done? I took everything for granted. But yeah,
so
Boston was great.
Boston Comic Con is in one of my categories for most conflicted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like I wasn't gonna put it at my favorite because the show that it's been for the past 2 years, and like knowing what they were doing with it as they were building it up and everything, and then it becoming Boston Fan Expo.
Expo Boston. Yeah.
But so PAX effectively utilized the entire arena, the huge space.
Yep.
And if you listen to the Boston Fan Expo Comic Con review, it was my complaint then. It's still my complaint. It should have been a better show. They should have had more space to spread out. They should know what they are. You don't buy this huge thing that's been growing and growing and growing, then be like, meh, maybe we'll not grow. We'll just keep it down, small.
And there could be a lot that we don't know about here, but just based off of what's the purpose of moving into a new venue if you're only going to use part of it?
Yeah.
And cram everyone into. I don't know the square footage. I probably could Google it, but the square footage compared to the 1/3 of the BCEC that they used, as compared to the Seaport World Trade Center. Like, was there any improvement? Like, aside from having more area for queue lines,
right?
That was definitely a huge turnoff. And I'm hoping they. I don't know if it was a budget constraint. Maybe the BCEC was like, hey, we can't open the thing fully that weekend. We don't have the staff. Who knows? But it's definitely something that I would really hope they look into fixing next year.
I mean, there were elements that they did like work on, because I don't want to say there's different levels of stature for cosplayers,
right?
But Boston Comic Con had like a certain tier of cosplayers that were there, like people to go buy pictures from and take pictures with and get autographs from. Whereas last year, that Fan Expo, like they took it up a notch, because having Jessica Negri and Sarah Jean Marie, I think, like having them there, it's like that's another layer. They kind of went up a rung in the ladder.
They're like the S tier cosplayers.
Yeah. Yeah. And not like what we've been having. Because, like, when you have the same cosplayer tables that Massive Con has, it's it's like...
I mean, I respect the grind.
Oh, yeah.
But...
the hustle is there, but...
it's not something that really interests me.
Right.
I mean, I Jessica Negri is she's kind of, the... would you say, like, the face of cosplay? I don't know if that's correct.
Probably, yeah.
But
I'll go with that. I mean, some are going to say Yaya Han,
right?
But when there's enough like when there's like a twitch involved with that, or like a snare, like
Right.
because there's still some bad publicity somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You want to aim towards the more pure faces.
Even with the tier, I think Jessica Nigri is great. I think she's funny. I love the fact that she just pisses off all these neckbeards by never just, essentially doing what they want her to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of people that are very upset on the internet because, at least from last I've heard, Jessica Nigri will not admit that she has fake breasts. And the amount of people that infuriates is just incredible. It's so great what people choose to let ruin their day. But anyways, even with that kind of caliber of I don't really have any interest in meeting Jessica Nigri.
But the lines that we saw for who they had never like came close to lines that I didn't really see lines in the past.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Lily the Vamp. It's okay. You could just walk right up and say hi.
Yep. Cool.
But yeah, the spacing, I shouldn't feel like I can't talk to my friend because the crowd is going to run me over.
Right.
It's like, I have to keep moving. Can't stop this table because otherwise there's no room to stop. You got to keep moving. That was unreal.
Yeah.
They should know better.
Yeah.
Fan Expo should have, keep on the ball with this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was one of my conflicted ones.
Right. And that's fair.
It was a good show, but it wasn't my favorite show by any means.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Maybe. Yeah.
We'll see. What else? Ooh, my computer just went black. There we go. I also had a if we're sticking on most conflicted, I don't have a whole lot to say, mostly because this year was kind of like meh for me. And as we were, and I was telling you this, when we were in pre-show, but like we were discussing in the past, we did, best comic writer, best comic artist, it's such and such. I honestly, I have my notepad open right now for best comic. I don't have an answer. I think maybe my answer for most conflicted is 2017 in general, because I just kind of went through the motions. The comics, I read pretty much the same comics that I've been reading. I picked up a couple new ones, and they're okay. They're okay comics. I don't really have anything that I'm like, yo, you have to read X because it's awesome. Aside from, always Saga is one of those books that you just tell people. But even this year, like, Saga was very good. I liked it.
As always.
Good comic. Yeah. Thor was very good. I'm a sucker for Old Man Logan for some reason. I really like that book. Green Lantern books, Justice League books, and then a bunch of Image stuff.
Yeah.
But like nothing, I'm having trouble thinking like, the best book of the year was this.
I do have a worst comic of the year.
That for you, it's going to be.
Well, it's on the table right now. So,
is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because we addressed this a little while ago under what was it, the blind support.
Oh, Blind Allegiance.
Blind Allegiance.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts book, which started in 2016, but issue I think 7 through 12 were still released in 2017. And the art is so bad.
Yeah.
It's terrible art. It's
which is tough because usually I like to say we're pretty good about supporting and so to say like
so recognize someone's style is just a certain way. It's like maybe it's not my favorite style, but they still do a neat thing. It's still pretty cool stuff. I still respect who they are. They have a lot of fans who do like what they do, and maybe it's just not for me. And like, but we'll still want to see them do well and still support what they're gonna make. This isn't that case. Because what I explained in the Blind Allegiance episode was that I'm going to buy the title because I want the title to do well, and I need to show Marvel that I support the name.
Right. Keep making Thunderbolts.
Make more Thunderbolts. And even if it's bad, like, I'm not supporting the people who are making Thunderbolts, but I want to support the name Thunderbolts. So maybe someday, please make good Thunderbolts again.
That's what I do with Justice League. It's exactly what I do. And I didn't even realize I just buy Justice League. Yeah.
And so there's a new team, and there's a couple switches because there's a few issues of this last run of Thunderbolts where they had like some fill-in artists, but it's been written by Jim Zub, who hasn't been bad, There's only because the reason I've always liked Thunderbolts was it's very comic booky.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright colors, it's costumes, it's superheroes punching each other.
Yep.
Although it's usually villains punching other villains.
It's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. It's like, how long can you do that? How long can you keep this interesting? And Jim Zub, who previously did his own book called Skull Kickers, which had really highly detailed art in it, by the way. Really nice art in Skull Kickers. If you get a chance to look at one of those, check it out. And so he was able to use an element to make the story a little different than usual, so it wasn't the same old, and that was nice. But when the new Thunderbolts was advertised, our friend Steve was like, "Oh, yeah, that guy's a Rob Liefeld spinoff. Like, he's a Rob Liefeldian artist." And I was like, "No,
Steve,
please."
who's been on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes. And I hoped it wasn't true. It's absolutely true. This is absolutely a Rob Liefeld ripoff artist. It's, even though he's already a ripoff anyway. Like, I don't want to say his name or throw him under the bus, but it's John Mallon.
I don't want to say it, but I'm going to do it right now.
It's just, there's no backgrounds. The expressions are all terrible. And, a lot of things just don't make sense. You can't tell the difference between the characters. Either they're, like, super serious and don't make sense, or they're too ridiculous and, like, childlike animation and don't make sense.
Right.
It really let me down. And, like, Thunderbolts deserve better than this.
Right. Especially when it's one of your blind allegiances,
It's like, I'm going to buy it no matter what.
I'm going to buy it.
Don't hate me for it. Like,
it's like they know it.
Don't punish me this way.
Yeah, we'll crank this out. Alex will fucking buy it.
Yeah, pretty much. It was on my list of worsts.
Yeah,
because I felt I had to buy it, but it just... And, like, when it wasn't John Mallon, it wasn't it was better.
Right.
At one point, I think Bagley filled in because they were doing a throwback to some of his, original work.
Mark Bagley was on Thunderbolts? Did I know that?
Mark Bagley did a lot of Thunderbolts.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm just one of those people who just always associates Bagley with Spider-Man.
It was before Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to spin into my other worst and try and accomplish this quick. It's a movie. My niece thought she wanted to see it for a while until I talked her out of it. And so I start this premise with making movies. And what movies are, it's an art form. Mm-hmm. You have someone who painstakingly tells you a story, and they write out this script of places and scenes, people that talk to each other, plot, dialogue, character development, all the stuff. This takes work. And then a director has to say, I'm going to make this movie. And they talk to producers, and the director might have to convince a producer to put money forth for it. So there's a lot of work that goes on there. And the director has this new vision and has to take the plot and then turn it into something else. And it's all in their head. Then they hire actors, and actors devoted their entire life to becoming other people to elicit an emotional response from you. And this is their job. And so actors put all this work into, like, either honing their body or honing their craft, their expressions, how to talk. It takes a lot of work. Well, let's make the movie. And so now there's people that build sets and scenes and backgrounds, and they build a building, they build cars. People make new costumes. They're making a new thing to fit the thing that they want to make.
They're building a world.
And all to convince you, for a moment that it's real. And, they've been at this for years. It's painstakingly, a difficult process. And then there's a lot of people that have to approve it. And then there's people that have to make the music for it. Or there's an orchestra to make the score, or there's a band, and someone has to figure out the score. And how does this music properly relate to this character, or this scene, or this plot, or how this moves forward? And then there's stuntmen that hone their body and learn how to throw themselves through windows and off buildings and not die. And that takes work.
Yep.
But then, the producer goes, "Hey, emojis, right? Let's make an emoji movie. Look, we got a smiley face guy. We got a rocket ship. We got a poop. Let's just put it together. Let's just put the shit together. We got a movie now. It's going to be a movie." And like an agent, they just want to earn their 10%. And they go, "Hey, you're going to voice this smiley face." And they go, "Why am I doing this?" And they go, "You're doing this because I get 10%.
Right.
And they go, "All right, I guess I'll fill in my weekend doing this voiceover thing for," what is it? A smiley face? Yeah, because it's the emoji movie. Just do it, okay? You're doing it because I'm telling you to. If you don't do this, I won't get any other work. And like it's just trash.
Yeah.
It's not a movie.
Yeah, it's an insult
It's
to
not an art
the
form.
entire
It's not
business.
entertainment. It's an insult.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like there are some movies, you know, like X movie, Mad Max.
Yeah.
The most, you know, developmental hell for how long? You know,
Years.
tabled and tabled and tabled. But nah, Emoji Movie just gets cranked out in like 6 months' time. Whatever. Kids will fucking watch it. We'll make money. Who gives a shit?
Pixar like starts their movies 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they've been working on Toy Story 4 since Toy Story 2 came out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Jack's Films? He's this guy on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, you've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I may have shown you some of his shit. He latched on to the Emoji Movie. Like when he heard it was going to be made, like he was like every joke that he made, not every joke, but a lot of his jokes would like harken back to the Emoji Movie, just you know, like pretending like he was excited for it.
Okay.
And to the point where he got invited to the premiere. And like he video blogged like his entire like experience at the premiere, and like
Wow.
the whole time he's like, it's all like feigned, you know, this is the greatest thing ever. Like it's just he's such a shit. It's so he's a funny guy. I like him a lot. But that's the only thing I know about the Emoji Movie is that it exists and that the guy from Jack's Films got to go to the premiere. That's it. The rest of it, it's just, I'm gonna stay away from that as far as I can. I'm not gonna go anywhere near that.
No, it's no. And like young people today need to realize this.
Yeah.
They need to learn.
Yeah, you gotta learn.
I'm an old man.
Yeah.
You gotta respect the art.
What's the Emoji Movie of our time? Like what just got cranked out just haphazard, like Land Before Time movies? At least those had a message.
There was like 8 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's really easy to forget like how.
I mean, the first one's probably really, a lot of work put into it.
Yeah.
But once they realize,
we can make money off this cash
I don't know,
cow.
I'd have to research this one to check.
But we'll figure that out for you. I don't know if I have, as far as like in the vein of biggest disappointment or
Worst
everything.
thing.
Yeah, worst thing. Aside from the
Presidency.
current political landscape at the time, or not at the time, at this time, it's pretty awful. Every single day is a new thing. Like, oh my God, how does this happen? Can you imagine? And like, it's such a shitty argument because it's not a shitty argument. It's just so expected. What if Obama had said a third of this stuff?
Yeah.
It would the world would be ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then every day it's some like, yeah. Did you know that you can debunk global warming by saying it's cold out? That's what our president did. So I think that just kind of overshadows everything else for me. Like nothing else is that bad. So
that bad.
so everything else I guess gets a pass this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know.
Should we spin it back to positive?
Yeah, we can spin it back to positive.
Okay.
Because we have a little bit more time, and I did want to get into a little bit of self-service here with our favorite episode that we've done, which we also kind of touched on a little bit with Dave a couple weeks ago on 300. Mm-hmm. You know, just over the past year, looking through the last 52 episodes.
Yeah, we didn't exactly narrow it down with him.
Right. We just talked about like our favorites in general.
Yeah.
Although we did mention at that time, you know, one of my favorite episodes this year was one that I had nothing to do with, aside from uploading it.
Oh yeah,
was the Wonder Woman episode, especially just to see the reaction that it got from people who listened, and they really seemed to dig it. It was a nice. It was something that we've never tried before, something outside of our wheelhouse. I had no idea how it was going to go, and people seemed to really dig it. And
I was pretty confident.
Yeah,
because when I had pitched like the 3 women I want to bring together for it, and you were like, "How's it going to work?" And I was like, "I think it'll be great."
Yeah,
because I kind of knew, each person's take and their personality, and like who would bring what to the table. And then even afterwards, realizing, because I was like, well, Vicky's going to be in charge. She's going to be in control of the soundboard, and because she's done the most.
Yep.
And then, even later on realizing when we had Dave on for 300, it was like, she was a first of our regular reoccurring guests.
Mm-hmm.
Recurring guests.
Who wasn't like one of our best friends.
Yeah. with an episode in the 30s, no less.
Yeah, that still blows my mind. But yeah, the Wonderful Women episode was fantastic. And then the other one I had was and again, we kind of touched on this, was the Boston wrap-up with Sinead, which was a lot of fun for me, just hearing from, like, you mentioned, like, she'd never been to a show before. It was first experience. Also, I don't think she's ever done a podcast before. And especially, like, before that, she'd had, a day and a half time of hanging out with us. And, she's cool to, sit down and chat with us. It was just a really.
Well, I'd never met her before that.
Exactly.
That
Exactly. Yeah, I had met her once before when we went to see a show, and it was hello, and then we watched the show, and then it was goodbye, and then we left. But that was a very fun episode for me.
Yeah.
If I had to, I mean, like, we did have a lot of new guests this year, and it's really tough to actually narrow it down. Like, it was tough because as I was scrolling, I was like, oh, hey, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Corey, not Corey. I always call him Corey.
Drew
from Corey Press was one of the, like, underdogs, I guess. I wasn't quite sure what we were, because you told me a lot about Drew, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then it ended up being one of my favorite episodes of the year.
He was fun.
He actually gave us a shout out too.
He did. His year
on
end.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yep. We were one of two podcasts to talk to him. Yeah.
We're the better of the two, but
obviously,
that goes without saying.
I'm not gonna make him judge, but.
But Drew, if you could just let us know, I might not even call you Corey again.
Maybe, we'll see. I have 3, but I can narrow it down to 1. It was really fun having Jimmy Noguchi on.
He was probably my top 5.
He was 252. And it was really nice because, like, it's so often when you meet an artist or a performer, which he's essentially both, doing Super Art Fight, and then getting to hang out with them and talk to them just as a regular person and not being Star Trek by them. And so that was nice because he was just one of the guys. He's just another dude and we're all into the same stuff. We get the same jokes, and that was great. At the same time, he's making some really cool stuff. And then right after that, 254, we had Ty Swanson.
Ty was a lot of fun.
We've never talked to a sideshow performer.
Yep.
Who's like, just casually mentions, oh yeah, I'm going to jump off of a 10-foot ladder onto a pile of broken glass. And just come out with that.
Just cuz.
But he's a really great pitchman. But I think my number 1 was 264 was Todd DeZago. When we talked to him about his Telos book and the tribute to Mike Wieringo and in all the artists that contributed to it. And it was a charity book to benefit the ASPCA, I believe. And that was really fun. Yeah. Because we've talked to a few artists before that, or, writer/artist. And so talking to Todd, who's been writing comic books for a while, and hearing about working with so many artists, what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
It really hit on like a fun nerve for me, because like he's doing the thing that sounds like so much fun that like at some point I would kind of like to do myself, and like there he is doing it, and for a good cause, and to remember a friend of his, and ultimately for all those other people to freely contribute their time to also remember someone that they were friends with and looked up to, and it's for a really good purpose, and his episode was a lot of fun. I liked it.
It was. And I'm just going through the list again. Like having Israel on again was fantastic. Seeing all the things that they're doing this year, having some people that we've wanted to have on for a long time, Michelle Greenwood and the Matt Etcha. We got to talk to both of them this year, which was fantastic. We did get to talk to Alyssa from Penny Arcade about the C Team, which was a big fanboy moment for me. She was a lot of fun to talk to. Just seeing like all the different things. It was a neat year, and it was like a dark horse year, because I forget about all these things. And then I'm also scrolling through in our feed. I have to say biggest disappointment was Photo Bucket, man. Just ruining everything. Like just going through and seeing like, please update your account to enable third-party hosting,
right.
And like it's just it makes everything look like garbage.
Yeah.
Like next year, if we apply for PAX Media badges for East, I get to send them, hey, here's our coverage from last year. Just don't mind the Photo Bucket things.
Yeah.
Unless I decide to delete them. But I'm also very stubborn. I'm very stubborn in that anyways, yeah, that's a yeah. So our website is riddled with those.
On 292, Kyle came back and brought Ricky and Joe with him.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if it's not the same for you, but for me, like having other haunters on who have been in the business for so long and like we all know what we're talking about, and just like we can relate so much, and we understand what we mean, like without having to explain it out. That was always nice. That was a lot of fun.
I think this Halloween was one of our strongest ever.
Yeah.
Especially like the Evidence of Evil guys were a lot of fun.
They were great.
That was a brilliant episode, if you ask me. A lot of fun just talking about spooky shit this year. With John making his return to the show after visiting the West Coast for a little bit. It was just overall, I think, in the grand scheme of things, 2017 was a garbage year, and it was hard to get worse than 2016. But I think somehow they eclipsed it. But overall, for podcasting, it wasn't awful. But yeah, that's about all I got. I'm a little conflicted on Star Wars, but who the hell isn't? Other than that, that's what I have for this year.
Yeah, that's it for me.
That's it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just draw out the rest of this. I don't want to leave the year now. We're just going to sit here enjoying 2017.
Oh, we got like a day left in the snow.
Yeah, and it's snowing.
Yep.
I guess we can go get food now.
I think I can hear roommate like banging her shoes off.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been playing with a Nerf gun this entire episode, in case you've been wondering what that was. Because I'm 31. Did I mention that?
Well, if it's not poker chips or a marker, it's
I'm playing with something. I guess we should probably end. This was a lot of fun. I hope you had a happy holidays. I'm talking to you, Alex, specifically, and
thanks.
the listeners too.
Oh, okay.
Everyone have happy. Stay safe if you're going out for the New Year's, and I guess until next year.
May your best next be better than your last.
Yeah, that one.
There we go.
There it is. Yeah, let's do to 2018. Raising glasses. Am I right?
Clink.
Yeah.
Yay.
So until next year, I've been JR.
I'm Alex.
And this has been episode 302 of Opinions May Vary, the last one ever of 2017. Yeah, I got people nervous there for like a split second. Oh, I missed the stop button. Hold on, let's try that again. And stop.